Take a look at this standard model of an atom. It is almost entirely empty space. In physics, a core rule is that systems naturally seek their lowest possible energy state. You would expect every single electron here to immediately plummet into the innermost orbit, resting directly against the nucleus. But they don't. The electrons remain rigidly stacked in distinct shells, maintaining the volume of the empty atom. If there is nothing physically blocking them, why doesn't the atom collapse? In introductory chemistry, this stability is explained by the Pauli Exclusion Principle, formulated by Austrian physicist Wolfgang Pauli in 1925. A common misconception is to treat this principle as a mechanical force, as if electrons are tiny magnets actively pushing each other away. That is incorrect. Exclusion exists as a fundamental topological requirement of identical particles, governing how they are permitted to occupy space. To understand what actually gives matter its volume, we have to abandon classical mechanics completely. We have to look at the mathematical interference of wave functions. By examining a single underlying mathematical minus sign, we can explain exactly why you do not fall through the floor and why the entire material universe doesn't collapse into a black hole. This table outlines the quantum numbers of an electron. A quantum state acts as a mathematical address. It requires a precise combination of values: principal, azimuthal, magnetic, and spin. These variables dictate the electron's exact energy level, orbital shape, and spin orientation. This brings us to a bedrock axiom of quantum mechanics. Elementary particles of the same type, like two electrons, are perfectly, flawlessly indistinguishable from one another. They carry absolutely no unique labels. The logical consequence of this indistinguishability is absolute. If you take a system and swap the positions of particle 1 and particle 2, the observable reality of that system cannot change. In wave mechanics, observable reality is the probability density. We calculate this by taking the absolute square of the wave function, written as psi squared. For the absolute square of a system to remain mathematically identical after swapping two particles, the underlying wave function prior to squaring is highly restricted. It has only two possible mathematical options. Option 1, the wave function remains exactly the same. We call this a symmetric state, represented by a +1. Option 2, the wave function flips its mathematical sign entirely. We call this an antisymmetric state, represented by a -1. Every single pair of identical particles in the universe is strictly forced to obey one of these two symmetries. That hidden mathematical rule dictates the structure of all matter. Nature divides all particles into two distinct categories based on their intrinsic angular momentum, or spin. This division is codified in the spin statistics theorem. Particles with whole integer spin, like photons, are called bosons. When swapped, bosons take the symmetric path. Particles with half-integer spin, like quarks and electrons, are called fermions. The theorem dictates they are forced to take the antisymmetric path. This graph plots a theoretical two particles in a box model. By placing the position of particle 1 on the x-axis and particle 2 on the y-axis, we can visualize how these wave symmetries affect their physical locations. If we map the symmetric wave function for bosons, a bright probability peak forms exactly along the diagonal axis, where x1 equals x2. This diagonal peak indicates that symmetric bosons have an extraordinarily high probability of clumping together. Now, watch what happens when we switch the graph to model the antisymmetric wave function for fermions. The probability peak vanishes, replaced by a deep valley carving a trench directly down the diagonal. Along that trench, the probability value drops to absolute zero. It is physically impossible to find two fermions in the exact same location. Notice that we haven't introduced any electrostatic repulsion or physical forces into this model.
This avoidance happens even if the particles have no charge at all. This tendency to stay apart is a pure topological consequence of their antisymmetric wave functions. It is exactly this math, and not a repelling force, that naturally creates the physical spacing between particles of matter. We can prove the Pauli exclusion principle mathematically by shifting from spatial locations to abstract energy states, looking at the equation for this antisymmetric wave function. In this expression, particle 1 is assigned to quantum state A, and particle 2 is assigned to state B. The terms are cross-multiplied and then subtracted to guarantee the antisymmetric minus sign. This sets up the ultimate test. What happens if we try to force both of these identical fermions into the exact same quantum state? If state B is identical to state A, we must substitute all the B variables in the equation with A. The mathematical inevitability of this substitution is immediate. The left side of the equation and the right side become completely identical. They subtract from one another, and the entire expression evaluates to exactly 0. A zero-value wave function signifies that the physical probability of this identical state existing in the universe is strictly 0. This is why two electrons can only share the same spatial orbital if their spin states are opposite, one up and one down. Opposing spins act as different quantum states, satisfying the requirement to keep the total state antisymmetric. The Pauli Exclusion Principle effectively manifests as an equation canceling itself out of existence. When we scale this rule up from 2 electrons to a massive macroscopic system packed with countless identical fermions, we see its true power. Imagine removing all thermal energy from a system to reach absolute 0. This animated diagram represents the energy levels available in that cold system. Because these fermions cannot share the lowest ground state, each newly added electron is locked out of the space below it, forced into a consecutively higher energy rung. The sharp boundary at the very top of this filled ladder is defined as the Fermi energy. A system stacked this tightly, where every lowest possible state is occupied, is known as a fully degenerate Fermi gas. Occupying these higher energy levels require the particles to possess significantly more momentum. When confined, these high-velocity particles exert a collective outward push, translating their energy into a massive macroscopic pressure. We call this purely quantum phenomenon degeneracy pressure. Working alongside electrostatic forces, degeneracy pressure is what stops the electrons in solid matter from collapsing into their nuclei. The volume, structure, and rigidity of bulk matter, including the device you are watching this on right now, is a direct manifestation of this quantum stacking process. The ultimate test of this quantum pressure plays out on a cosmic scale, at the end of a low-mass star's life, once it has exhausted its nuclear fusion fuel. Without the intense thermal heat to fusion pushing outward, gravity relentlessly crushes the stellar core inward. The star's electrons are compressed so densely that they form the ultimate degenerate Fermi gas. Looking at the thermodynamic equation for electron degeneracy pressure, we can see the exact moment the outward force perfectly counters the inward pull of gravitational binding energy. This quantum pressure halts the collapse entirely, giving birth to a stable, incredibly dense white dwarf. In even more massive collapsing stars, the crush is so severe that electrons merge with protons, but the resulting neutrons are also fermions. These layers of the neutron star are supported by the exact same topological rule, creating a barrier known as neutron degeneracy pressure. The structure of the periodic table, the physical rigidity of your desk, and the survival of dead stars against the crushing force of black holes, all of it relies entirely on a mathematical minus sign.